The voicemail ends. The courtroom is silent. Caprio's expression doesn't move, not even a twitch. A quiet resolution, he repeats. This court does not conduct justice in quiet rooms. Aiden slouches deeper into his chair, arms crossed, annoyed that the world refuses to bend the way he's used to. Caprio folds his hands. Mr. Roth, you're 18. Old enough to drive. Old enough to endanger lives. Old enough to be accountable. Aiden's attorney tries again, voice tight with panic. Your Honor, the Roth family is prepared to contribute. Counselor. Caprio cuts him off sharply. If you use the word contribute in this courtroom as a substitute for consequences, you may sit down and let your client speak for himself. The attorney swallows hard. Caprio turns to Officer Rodriguez. Were there children present in the school zone at the time of the incident? Yes, Your Honor. Crossing guards were active. Students were entering the building. And at 68 mph, what's the stopping distance of a vehicle like Mr. Roth's? Approximately 260 feet, Your Honor. Nearly an entire football field. Caprio looks directly at Aiden. One football field between life and death. Aiden rolls his eyes. Look, no one got hurt. Caprio snaps his pen onto the desk. The sharp crack echoes across the room. No one got hurt this time. That is luck, not innocence. A murmur spreads through the gallery. Caprio turns back to Miss Lewis. Any other attempts from the family to influence this proceeding? She checks the log again. Yes, Your Honor. An email sent at 10:14 a.m. from an assistant at Roth Capital requesting assurances regarding the tone and trajectory of the hearing. Caprio blinks once. The tone and trajectory? Yes, Your Honor. Caprio taps his bench twice, a signal that means he's finished being polite. Let the record reflect. This court will not be steered, purchased, pressured, or softened by wealth or influence. Justice does not have a price tag. Aiden scoffs. My dad said. Caprio raises a hand. Mr. Roth, your father is not on trial. You are. And the sooner you understand that the world has rules, even for you, the better. He turns to Officer Rodriguez. You may step down. The officer returns to his seat. Caprio addresses Aiden directly. You were speeding at nearly double the limit. In a school zone. During active hours. You ignored lights, sirens, a lawful order, and attempted to intimidate an officer. And now you sit before this court acting as if consequences are negotiable. He leans forward. They're not. Aiden shifts, suddenly less certain. Before I issue sentencing, Caprio says, I want to hear from you. Not your father. Not his attorneys. You. A beat of silence. Mr. Roth, do you have anything you'd like to say before this court decides your fate? Caprio's voice barely rises above a whisper, but the quiet hits harder than a shout. Mr. Roth, let me state this plainly. What you said wasn't sarcasm. It was contempt. Aiden opens his mouth, but the attorney tugs him down by the sleeve. Caprio turns to the clerk. Miss Lewis, prepare the contempt citation form. Aiden's attorney steps forward, voice cracking with urgency. Your Honor, my client's remarks were immature, not malicious. He's young, he's. Counselor, Caprio interrupts. Immaturity ends where endangerment begins. 18 is not a child. 18 is a man behind the wheel of a 2-ton machine. Aiden scoffs under his breath. Caprio continues. And I would remind you that your client's immaturity did not prevent him from invoking wealth, political access, and influence to manipulate due process. Selective maturity is not an excuse. Miss Lewis hands a document to the bench. Caprio signs it with one clean, deliberate stroke. Mr. Roth, the court finds you in direct criminal contempt for statements deliberately intended to undermine these proceedings. Aiden straightens, for the first time looking unsure. Caprio folds his hands. Before I impose a sanction, I want you to understand something. Influence is not immunity. Money is not authority. Connections are not character. And entitlement is not intelligence. The gallery is silent. He continues, voice steady as stone. You drove 68 miles an hour through a school zone with 20 children present. You ignored police lights. You refused lawful instructions. And when confronted with consequences, your response was, my father will fix it. Caprio lifts the citation. That ends today. Aiden's jaw tenses. This is ridiculous. No. Caprio says, this is accountability. He turns the page. For direct contempt of court, I am sentencing you to 25 hours of community service at Carver Elementary School, the same school whose children you endangered. Aiden's face goes pale. You will work under the supervision of the school administration. Cafeteria duty, hallway duty, sanitation support, whatever they assign. You will arrive on time. You will follow instructions. You will complete every hour. The attorney steps in again. Your Honor, surely the court can consider. Caprio cuts him off with a raised hand. If you interrupt me again while I'm issuing a contempt ruling, counselor, you will spend the afternoon reviewing courtroom procedure and holding. The attorney's mouth snaps shut. Caprio turns back to Aiden. In addition to service hours, you will write a 1,500-word essay titled Respect is Earned, Not Bought. It will address the role of public servants, the purpose of school zones, and the ethical limits of wealth in a democratic society. Aiden starts to object, but Caprio speaks over him. And Mr. Roth, you will read that essay aloud in this courtroom on your return date. A collective exhale pours from the gallery. Caprio lowers his voice. As for your statement about buying this court, justice cannot be bought. Not now. Not ever. And the fact that you believed otherwise tells me exactly where the failure comes from. Aiden blinks, confused. What failure? Caprio stares directly into him. Yours? No, Mr. Roth. Your father's. The room chills. A parent who teaches a child that wealth replaces responsibility does not raise a leader. He raises a danger. Aiden swallows. Caprio leans back. Your father may have dinner with every mayor in this state. He may sign checks with more zeros than this court will ever see. But he cannot erase this ruling. He cannot cancel consequences. And he cannot buy back the moment you told this court that justice was for sale. He lifts the gavel. Sentencing stands. 30 days to complete community service. Return date will be set by the clerk. Aiden's voice is small now. So that's it. Caprio shakes his head. No, Mr. Roth. That's the beginning. He brings the gavel down. One day, Caprio says softly, you may understand that privilege is not the problem. What you do with it is. The courtroom releases a breath. If you believe justice shouldn't bend for wealth, tell us where you're watching from and subscribe to Order in the Court. It undermines public confidence in the judicial process. Judge Caprio's voice cuts through the courtroom, steady and controlled. What concerns me most, Mr. Roth, is that you didn't simply insult me. You announced to everyone in this chamber, and everyone who will ever read this transcript, that justice can be bought. That wealth determines outcomes. That the law bends for those who can afford to bend it. That is not how this court works. Not today, and not while I sit on this bench. Aiden Roth shifts, suddenly less sure of himself. The judge continues. For direct contempt of court, I am sentencing you to 30 days at the adult correctional institutions. You will be eligible for review after 15 days, provided you show genuine reflection and compliance. Officer Wilson, take Mr. Roth into custody. The bailiff steps forward. Aiden's cocky smirk evaporates. Wait, what? You can't. You heard the ruling, Mr. Roth. Caprio doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Officer Wilson. The cold click of handcuffs echoes through the courtroom. Aiden's face drains of color. My dad will. Your father will do nothing, Caprio replies. This is direct contempt. It is immediate. You'll be transported within the hour. The clerk notes the time. For the record, Your Honor, time is 10:31 a.m., 31 minutes from call of case to custody. Next case. Caprio says, already turning the page. The clerk calls. 2025, TR 47301. Commonwealth versus Maria Santos. A woman in her 50s steps forward clutching a folder, nervous but respectful. Ms. Santos, Caprio says, you were cited for an expired registration, 3 days overdue. Yes, Your Honor. I paid it the next day. I worked 2 jobs. I lost track of the date. I'm sorry. You took responsibility immediately. Fine reduced to $25. Thank you for your integrity. Thank you, Your Honor. The contrast is unmistakable. Equality, Caprio thinks, is loudest when money fails. Before adjourning, he issues 5 policy recommendations for the municipal court administration and the mayor's office. A public log of all attempted off-record influence. A hotline for reporting interference. A full audit of school zone speed beacons. Standardized language for officers facing wealth-based intimidation. and a clear contempt of court protocol ensuring immediate consequences for on-record intimidation, regardless of status or resources. Within days, the body cam footage becomes public. Within 72 hours, it goes viral. Headlines spread everywhere. Teen tells judge, "My dad can buy you." Leaves courtroom in handcuffs 30 minutes later. A week later, Roth Capital Group's legal team files a motion to vacate the contempt ruling, arguing youthful immaturity, freedom of expression, a clean record, and even letters from charities praising the family's generosity. Caprio responds with a written denial, 2 pages, single-spaced. The final paragraph is firm. The defendant's statement was not hyperbole. It was a deliberate assertion that wealth supersedes law. Such statements, made in open court, undermine public confidence in the integrity of the judicial system. The contempt finding stands. 15 days later, Aiden appears via video from ACI for his review hearing. He looks different, hair uncombed, face thinner, jumpsuit worn. "Mr. Roth," Caprio says, "you requested this review. The question is simple. Have you reflected? And does continued custody serve any further purpose? You may speak." Aiden swallows and looks into the camera. "Your Honor, I was wrong. I thought money meant power. I thought my father's success meant I didn't have to follow the same rules as everyone else. I was arrogant. I endangered children. I disrespected the officer who stopped me, in this court. I'm sorry." Caprio studies him. "Are those your own words, or did someone write them for you?" "They're mine, Your Honor. I've had 15 days to think. I'm ashamed." "Good," Caprio says softly. "Shame is the beginning of change." He delivers the ruling. Your custody is reduced to time served, 15 days. But you will complete a restorative accountability plan. 200 hours of community service with the Providence School Safety Program. You will serve as a crossing guard assistant in the very school zone where you were speeding. Morning and afternoon shifts. All weather. No shortcuts. No exceptions. You will serve the community you endangered. You'll write and deliver in-person apologies to Officer Rodriguez and to the principal of Carver Elementary School, Judge Caprio says. "And I don't mean letters drafted by counsel. I mean your words, your voice, your accountability." Aiden nods stiffly. "You'll also record a public service announcement on school zone safety. The script will be reviewed by this court. No branding, no charity references, no mentions of your family. Plain truth. You'll complete a driver safety reflection course and submit an 800-word written reflection on what you learned. Not PR language. Real insight." The room is silent as Caprio leans forward. "Do you accept these terms?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Then you're released today. Officer Wilson will process the paperwork. Don't make me regret this, Mr. Roth." "I won't, Your Honor." "Thank you." Over the next 4 months, Aiden completes the terms one step at a time. Week 1. He arrives at Elmwood Avenue at 7:45 a.m. for crossing guard duty. It's 34 degrees and the wind cuts through his jacket. He holds a bright red stop sign, watching children cross the same intersection where he once flew past at 68 miles an hour. One parent recognizes him from the news. She says nothing. She simply meets his eyes, then walks her daughter safely across. Week 3. He delivers his apology to Officer Rodriguez in a small office at the precinct. Rodriguez listens quietly, arms folded. When Aiden finishes, the officer nods once and says, "Thank you for coming. I hope you mean it." Week 5. He sits across from the principal of Carver Elementary. She reads his written apology carefully, then looks up. "Our students deserve to feel safe walking to school," she tells him. "I hope you remember that." Week 8. He records the PSA. His first draft includes mentions of his father's charities. The court rejects it immediately. He tries again, staring into the camera this time without hiding behind status. "I drove 68 miles per hour past children," he says. "I thought I was above the rules. I wasn't. Speed limits exist for a reason. Follow them." Week 12. He submits his reflection. It's rough, honest, unpolished. "I spent 18 years believing money equaled respect," he writes. It doesn't. Respect comes from how you treat people when no one is watching, and how you accept consequences when you're caught. The compliance log is simple and unadorned. 200 hours completed. 2 apologies delivered. 1 PSA approved. 1 reflection submitted. At the bottom of the court's report is a question for the public. Should contempt be used more often for open court intimidation? Yes or no? Comment below. For months after the original outburst, Aiden returns to court for final review. Caprio flips through the documents, service logs, signed apology receipts, the PSA transcript, the reflection, the driver's safety certificate. Everything is in order. Mr. Roth, Caprio says, looking up, I've read your reflection. Summarize what you learned. Aiden stands. I learned that rules aren't obstacles, they're protections. I learned my father's money doesn't make me special. It only gave me advantages I never earned. I learned that respect comes from character, not net worth. And I learned that when you tell a judge my dad can buy you, you're not showing power. You're showing how little you understand about power. Caprio nods slowly. You stopped borrowing power and started earning character. He signs the final order. Your community service is complete. Your license suspension is lifted, pending your completed course, which you've done. This matter is closed. Don't come back here, Mr. Roth. I won't, Your Honor. Good, because next time, there will be no review hearing. 6 months later, Providence formally adopts the ex parte influence log protocol. In just 1 month, 11 attempted improper contacts are documented and declined. The clerk hotline receives 19 calls. 6 trigger formal investigations. The school zone beacon audit identifies 12 faulty zones, all repaired within 60 days. The enforcement dashboard goes public, and speeding in school zones drops 28%. Caprio's contempt guidance memo is circulated statewide. One line is highlighted everywhere. Wealth is not a credential. Status is not a defense. Followed by another. When a defendant uses money or connection to intimidate the court, custody is not cruelty, it is clarity. On a quiet Friday afternoon, Caprio finishes his last case. Before heading out, he pulls up the docket from that Tuesday morning, the one where Aiden Roth said, "My dad can buy you," and left in handcuffs 31 minutes later. He writes a single note in the margin of his bench book. The bench is not for sale. It never was. It never will be. He thinks of Aiden standing in the cold, holding a stop sign, helping children cross safely. He thinks of the arrogant text message, "He'll make calls. Don't sweat it." He thinks of the 15 days Aiden spent learning that consequences are real. Caprio closes the book, turns off the light, locks the door. Dramatization for storytelling and education, not legal advice or reporting.